Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Michael,
I'm not.
and we are the Knights of Entertainment, a podcast covering your favorite and unknown movies, games, comic books, anime, and more weekly. We appreciate you being here and hope you enjoy the show. This is what we are covering tonight. Tonight is the final recap, Season 4 of Overlord. But before we do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can enjoy the show on YouTube, Spotify, Odyssey, Rumble, and more. We appreciate you being here, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty. So, last 3 weeks, we've done all the other season recaps. We're on to the very last one that's been aired.
At least one of us can actually finish a series. Not naming names.
I didn't leave everybody stuck at season 30. Alrighty, so same as always, we're going to go through every single episode. Again, 13 episodes in the season. So, episode 1 of season 4 is titled Sorceress Nation of Ainzelgone. So we have Ainz, he's depressed, and is surrounded only by his loyal servants, and misses his former guild members. So he's kind of just
down on the dumps today.
Yeah. Ainz establishes an orphanage in Erantel, which is the city that he won during that battle. Yeah, he ended up getting Erantel, which is a big city, to identify talented individuals at a young age for the benefit of Nazarick. So all the people that lost all their moms and dads during that war.
He's making child soldiers? What's he doing?
He's figuring out who has talent among them. He also hires widows of the dead Riestes soldiers as workers to provide for them, so that way they can make a living.
Jesus, Damien takes their wives.
Yeah.
Man, it's cold as ice.
Then you have Albedo. She's clashing with Aura over spending too much time with Ainz at this point, because she doesn't get to spend as much time with her, with Ainz anyway. It's like,
she's thirsty.
Yes. Making Ainz consider sending Aura and Mare, the two elf twins, out to make friends, and like if there's an elf nation or something like that they haven't discovered yet. So he's like, maybe they need to go get some friends instead of hanging out with me all the time. Albedo reveals Erantel is suffering a lack of resources, as merchants are too scared to visit now that Ainz is king. And it's like, fuck that. It's a fucking undead lich. I ain't gonna go to that city. Albedo is granted permission to visit the Riestes kingdom at this point, though, on her own as like an ambassador, because she wants to go meet with the nobles and stuff of that kingdom. As Pandora's actor, still has an annoying personality that irritates the hell out of Ainzelgone. He suggests he would be proud if he grew beyond his original programming. And this is Ainz speaking to Pandora's actor, though he asks this be kept secret in case the Floor Guardians think he is showing favoritism to Pandora's actor, since it was his creation. He doesn't want the rest of them to think that he's showing all that kind of favoritism towards him. But he's like, start thinking for yourself a little bit. Like, stop relying on every little damn thing to come down from me. Just think for yourself a little bit. Like, if I give you an order, mull it over in your mind to think of the best way to execute it for the good of Nazarick. Kind of like Demiurge over here, you know. Just, dude, don't rely on me, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Pandora's actor does reveal that while posing as Momon, the Raven-Black soldier, many humans have been asking him about Ainz. Ainz worries that the Floor Guardians still see humans as lesser creatures, so he doesn't want his Floor Guardians to look completely down upon humanity as like worthless, basically. So it's kind of a fear of his that they're just going to think, just kill them all. Just fuck them. Ainz approaches Ainzak, which it's like just a longer version of his name. But Ainzak is he's the master of the local adventurers guild master, basically. Since Ainz's Death Knights, Ainzelgone's Death Knights, keep the peace, a lot of adventurers' security work has dried up. So there's no monsters to kill around Erantel. There's nothing for them to really do.
Damn.
Because
out of a job, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. So Ainz asks to absorb the guild.
God dang scabs. God.
Yeah, the Death Knights that can take and destroy a fucking city.
Yeah.
So Ainz asks to absorb the guild into his kingdom and put the adventurers to work exploring unknown lands and establishing diplomatic ties with undiscovered kingdoms. Basically, allowing them to be true adventurers instead of just hired hands the entire time. He wants them to enjoy the journey, the adventure, which is something that he couldn't do with like Momon. But as a leader and a king of the Sorcerer Kingdom, he can.
Just like, get on out there and beat somebody.
Pretty much, yeah. Because you have the guild master saying, "Well, you can have this guild." And he's like, "No, I want all of the adventurers guild to be part of my kingdom." He's like, "I have the military might. If I wanted to go to war with somebody, I could. I don't need adventurers to do that for me. I just want them to have fun and go out and actually adventure." So he's trying to be nice.
This is a regular player.
Yeah, he wants them to be kind of like players. Ainz announces his plan now is to rule both human and non-human species in a kingdom where all can live in peace together in a utopia. And that's his actual plan. Whether Demiurge wants that or not. Episode 2 is called Riestes Kingdom. Ainz worries his plan to establish a peaceful kingdom might clash with his servants' plans for world domination.
Say it probably would.
Princess Rainier establishes an orphanage in Riestes to identify magically talented orphans. Kind of the same thing that Einzelgon is doing, just in the main part of the kingdom itself. As Prince Barbaro, which is the one that was killed by Lupus Regina last season, he's still missing because they don't know that he's dead yet. As Prince Barbaro is still missing, his brother Zanuck becomes acting crown prince of the Riestes kingdom. Deeply affected by Gazif's death, Brain seeks out children with sword skills to potentially replace Gazif in the future. Albedo arrives in Riestes, and she meets with Zanuck, the prince. At her welcoming party, a minor noble named Philip Montserrat, which is just like Montserrat, basically saying he's a rat.
Oh.
The name.
Is he a monster rat? Or is he just...
That's kind of how it's just letters twisted slightly, but yeah. And enamored by Albedo's beauty and seeking to improve his family's standing, he invites Albedo to a party at their mansion. So, because Albedo is like this otherworldly beauty, according to all these people. So, like, she's got the porcelain skin, she's got nothing, no flaws, no nothing. She's a succubus. That's her whole thing. So whenever a normal human sees her, they're like automatically enthralled as soon as they see her. So he is. He's enthralled and he makes his way to her. His father is furious as Philip's older brother died fighting against Ainz. But Philip is adamant establishing a relationship with the Sorcerer Kingdom would benefit them, saying basically he can outsmart the Sorcerer Kingdom on his own. This rat. Monster rat.
Oh, rats are pretty intelligent.
Yeah. A rich commoner named Hilma Signius has been supporting Philip financially and hopes to profit from him once he inherits his father's title. Albedo is completely disgusted whenever Philip touches her because he puts his arm around her shoulder and you hear a crack in the anime. Like it's her veneer cracking, but when you look at her, she still looks the exact same. But you can tell that she's like, "The fuck are you touching me for?"
It's a quick little mental
snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But her face and her demeanor, none of it changes the entire time. But you hear the crack audibly. Because he looks at her, he's like, "What was that?" Philip, believing he has made a good impression, shares with Hilma his plan to seduce and marry Albedo, this minor noble. Hilma, who is secretly under Albedo's influence, offers to have Philip murdered and replaced, but Albedo lets him live temporarily. So basically, Hilma is one of the Eight Fingers, the one that got her legs busted open by Mare. The one where I was talking about how he got the staff and just smashed her legs, then drug her off by her hair.
Oh, yeah.
That was Hilma.
Jesus.
And she got eaten out alive completely, not just in a sexual way, but she got eaten alive by Kyohuko, those roaches.
Right.
That's her.
She's what? She's just a husk?
Well, she was restored, like over and over and over and over. Like it just mentally broke her
I imagine so.
because she remembers being eaten alive.
Right.
So this is the same Hilma. This is
So she's all fucked in the head then.
like, well, she's like automatically, she's completely devoted to the Sorcerer Kingdom now. Like she would never go against them.
Got that Stockholm syndrome, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Hilma and Albedo secretly meet with the nobles who actually matter, aside from the monster rat person, and begin planning to elevate the shortage of supplies in Irantil. Because that's their whole plan, is that they're going to just make a shortage of supplies for this for the Riestes kingdom. Princess Rainier, who established the orphanage under Ainz's orders, is rewarded by Albedo for her loyalty. So this is when we find out that Princess Rainier is also working for Nazarick, the Riestes kingdom's princess,
Jesus.
the little demon.
What's on a job?
Yeah.
Same fucking place.
Yes. That's why she set up a guild, or not a guild, but an orphanage the same way Ainz has done. Like she's literally doing everything that he would do and copying him. So she's selling out her own kingdom, which is really fucked up. Episode 3, Baharuth Empire is the title. So before Albedo has departed for the Riestes kingdom, we went back in time a little bit. Ainz gave her a world item. Gnenga, God, I'm gonna fuck up this name again. I always fuck up these names. Gnengagap, which is a staff with a floating black orb on top of it, but it's a world item. So since he gave her a world item, it prevents her being brainwashed the way that Shaltir was.
Hmm.
So because if you have a world item can't affect you. Is basically how it goes anyway. So he's given her that. And Albedo was then surprised when, after requesting for a goodbye kiss from Ainz kisses her on the cheek.
With what?
With his teeth.
Fuck.
Elsewhere, the cardinals of the slain theocracy, which is the kingdom that we met in the first season, the one that was attacking all those little villages and stuff, they're discussing the sorcerer kingdom and Emperor Zherknev, the two of them. Their spy, the Thousand League Astrologer, which they call them, secludes herself in despair, having seen Ainz use his 11th tier magic to massacre 130,000 men. So he killed the sacrificial ones of 70,000, and then there was another 60,000 that were killed by his baby goats. So 130,000 people died from one spell.
Damn.
That's a lot. That's half of the entire army that the Riestes kingdom had last season. So without enough information, the cardinals decide to spy on Emperor Zherknev. Meanwhile, Zherknev is unable to handle the stress of dealing with Ainz and losing the war, and it's causing his hair to begin to start falling out. So he pulls his hands away, and all you see is just hair.
Like pulls the hair in his hand?
Yeah.
Sounds like my life.
It's like just the stress of dealing with having to know. So Zherknev hopes the slain theocracy will be secret allies with him against Ainz Elgon. So he hires the Adamantide Adventures Silver Thread Bird. It's a new group of people that we meet as guards while meeting with their representatives from the slain theocracy. So he's meeting with these people coming in from the slain theocracy. As a gladiatorial display in a coliseum, Zherknev meets the representatives, but in the Colosseum, the Emperor's strongest gladiator, the Warrior King, is suddenly challenged by Ainz. Zherknev has no idea this is even going to happen. So the strongest warrior that they have in a Colosseum is going to fight Ainz now. And he knew nothing about it. He's like, when the fuck did he hit him?
So I gotta change my bets.
So Zherknev panics as he believes Ainz somehow manipulated the entire meeting to force Zherknev to either support Ainz or publicly betray him and ask the theocracy for his alliance. So in his mind, he thinks that since he's meeting with these slain theocracy representatives, that Ainz somehow 4D chessed it to where he's going to have to publicly choose Ainz or the slain theocracy.
Oh.
And that was never, like, Ainz didn't even think this far ahead.
Because I don't know.
The theocracy accuses Zerknev of conspiracy, but remains steadfast in opposing Ainz, who, as an undead, is the enemy of their temple. Ainz leaves for his duel, and Zerknev begs the high priests to at least watch Ainz's fight and maybe discover his weaknesses, because he thinks that maybe they can figure something out about him that he can't. So then we move into episode 4 called The Ruler of Conspiracy. So following Albedo's departure, we go back to where that started again. To the Restes Kingdom, Ainz decided upon a publicity stunt to show his power and his mercy. Along with Einzak, the guildmaster, Ainz will go and smuggle himself into the Baharuth Empire.
Smuggled himself.
Because he teleported him there in a carriage. Because you have Einzak, the guildmaster, who's like, we're in the Empire. When did we get here? Oh, we passed it a long time ago. Doesn't even tell him how they got there. Einzak pointed out hiring experienced adventurers could be problematic, so it would benefit Ainz to train amateurs within the, like, people that want to be adventurers. Einzak thinks that it would be smarter to hire new recruits, so that way they can go actually be adventurers rather than like veterans. Ainz decides a fight in the Colosseum would advertise to potential trainees, so Einzak setting up a meeting with a fight promoter for the Colosseum. Ainz meets with Fluter, the head mage of the Baharuth Empire, to gather information and rewarded his loyalty with a book detailing the exact nature of souls, the Book of the Dead. So he gives Fluter Paradigm literally the our Earth's version of the Book of the Dead, and says, when you can learn how to read this, you'll learn mastery over life and death. Because he has no idea what it even says. He lets him use this little monocle that lets him read like a few lines of it and everything. And he's like, no, I need that back. You can't have that. And you see him almost crying like a little kid, but I want it. So he lets him have that book. Meeting Osk is the fight promoter, Ainz takes an interest in a rune-crafted sword from the Dwarven Kingdom. Osk arranged for a fight with the Warrior King, which now we jump back to the present. So now in the present, Ainz meets the Warrior King in this Colosseum. The Warrior King, a troll named Gogen, who is actually intelligent, unlike Goo from...
Gogen?
Yeah, Gogen.
Good game, GG.
It is, GG. Deciding that he likes Gogen, Ainz offers to hire him should Gogen lose their fight, and he agrees. For the sake of fairness, Ainz uses no high-tier magic and equips Clementine's triple daggers, those ones that can create lightning and fire.
Mm-hmm.
So he equips those to himself so that way he can actually fight.
She's like, what the fuck? Where's my shit at?
Well, she's dead, remember?
Oh, no.
She got crushed to death.
Oh.
With shit just popping off of her, all those little like badges.
Oh, yeah, that one girl with all the badges that she stole from the other guild members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's using her daggers. It's like, isn't that a turn of events? Gogen is thrilled to have faced somebody of Ainz's strength and swears to one day reach his level. Ainz kills Gogen and announces to the audience that his desire...
Are you not entertained?
Kinda, yeah. His audience, his desire to train adventurers to explore the entire world, and that they need not fear death in his service, as he resurrects Gogen before their eyes. So not as like a death like zombie, but he actually fully revives him. Out of desperation, Zerknev, because he's like, oh, fuck. So out of desperation, he requests that the Empire become a vassal state for the Sorcerer Empire. It's like, anything. Let us just be a vassal state. How about that? Ainz hesitates to the agreement, but agrees to negotiate the details. And then Zerknev hopes to survive by being at least useful as one of Ainz's servants. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're not going to win. Just make us a fucking vassal state.
I'd probably call my scientist back home. How far along is the nuke?
Then we go into episode 5. It's called In Pursuit of the Land of Dwarves. So now we meet kinship for you. Dwarfs.
Stout people.
Short, stout people. You have Albedo suggesting to Demiurge that Ainz is unhappy with his plans, and Ainz wants him and Albedo to arrange for the Empire to become a vassal state. which is it kind of freaks Demiurge out because she's like, so how long would it have taken you to get the empire to become a vassal state? And he's like, at least like a year. Well, Ainz did it in 2 days. Like she's bragging about Ainz's ability, and it's like he didn't even try to make him a vassal state. It just happened. And Demiurge has all these plans. He's like, fuck. Like, how did he do it so quick? It's like not being that bright. It actually helps. Ainz hopes to make an alliance with the Dwarven Kingdom to gain access to their rune technology, which is like carvings into actual weapons and equipment rather than just enchanted, magically enchanted items. He takes Aura, Shaltir, and the lizard men Zinburu, who has experience with the dwarves, apparently during travels. Zinburu, anyway, not Shaltir or Aura. Ainz hopes that the experience will broaden Shaltir's mind, and that she'll actually learn something at this point instead of just rushing in to kill people like she did in the first season. Because she'll just go mad and go into that blood frenzy that she has. In private, Ainz reveals that the runes are from the Yggdrasil game and wonders if another player who taught them to the dwarves are still around, maybe. Aura suggests to Shaltir that she should try to understand Ainz's actions. Like, take what he says and actually apply it to your life rather than just writing shit down at all times and not understanding any of it. They arrive at Feo Raidho City, but find it abandoned except for Gondo Firebeard, a dwarf miner.
Firebeard.
Mm-hmm. Ainz explains his interest in an alliance.
Is he a redhead?
Yeah, he has a red beard.
That bush must be wild.
Because whenever he first comes up, you have Aura goes up to him, and it's like, "Hi, how are you?" The little happy-go-lucky looking little Naruto-looking kid comes up to him, and he tries to hide himself because he's got this like cloak of invisibility. And the little dwarf puts it over himself and kind of like crawls away or whatever. And Aura, she's following him the entire time, just watching it. He's like, well, I guess this is fucking useless. Because she's got the ability to perceive the invisible stuff as a like hunter type character. So the way she was built at a level 100 NPC, she can see through the low level invisibility spells. Like you'd have to have an ability that Ainzel Gun would have, which is perfect and knowable, to even try to hide from her. And then you have Ainz like, oh fuck, it's an undead, run, where he tries to drag Aura with him. And she's like, no, that's my boss. So like, he ain't gonna hurt you. So then you have him explain that he explains his interest in an alliance and in the runes themselves. Gondo admits not many runesmiths remain, since it's easier to use enchantments on weapons than it is actual runes. So it takes time and like actual knowledge on how to do it. And dwarven society has been declining for years. Ainz offers his support in helping the dwarves recover their pride, so Gondo swears his loyalty. They encounter a new race called the Quagga, a race of mole people that eat metal to make their fur more impenetrable.
Mole people.
Mole dog-looking creatures. So basically whatever metal they eat, their fur kind of takes on those characteristics.
Huh.
Kind of a unique concept.
My gosh, they had a match, it would be over.
Yeah, it really would. Ainz orders Shaltir to capture them alive and is pleased when she correctly deduces his reason for doing so, which is to basically figure out what their point is. So she uses charm on them.
You only need one.
And she captured all of them. It's control lesser species, and it's just an area of an effect that Shaltir has. Ainz learns that the Quagga are a support force for a army led by a clan leader, Pei-Ri-Uro, who, at the very moment, is leading an army to destroy what is left of the Dwarven Kingdom that had already left, this city that they're in right now. So then we move into episode 6, called The Impending Crisis. The Quagga army attacks the stronghold Feogera, which is where the dwarves are now. Ainz arrives and offers assistance to the general, who is so desperate he accepts immediately, even though he looks at him and is like, oh fuck, now we got to deal with an undead elder lich too.
With the Balrog and everything, my god.
Ainz's Death Knights push the Quagga back, but 2 of them are destroyed when the Kuaga Pack leader, Yols, destroys the bridge they are standing on, dropping them into a bottomless chasm.
Hmm.
And Ainz thinks that somebody killed them rather than them just falling,
Right.
because he knows that they were destroyed, but he doesn't know how. And it took a little bit of intelligence for them to cut the ropes. It's like, oh fuck, we can't beat these. Drop the bridge, destroy the bridge. Ainz offers the dwarves Regency Council of Trade excuse me. Ainz offers the dwarves Regency Council a trade alliance as well as Ainz's guarantee of protection. So basically saying that if you give me your runesmiths and that technology, I'll offer you all the trade and I'll give you protection. That way you don't ever have to worry about the Kuaga again. Ainz also offers to reclaim the dwarven royal capital of Fail Burkana from the Kuaga, because they've already taken that over, despite the Kuaga's numbers and a frost dragon living nearby. So he'll do all this for the dwarves in exchange for all the runesmiths relocating to his kingdom out of the dwarven kingdom. So he wants all their runesmiths. And he'll destroy dragons, the Kuaga, and get their city back for him.
I want all your women.
He's not even asking them. He don't even want the women.
The hottest one. I want them all.
Despite their reservations, the council agrees. Ainz meets the runesmiths and informs them that he wants them to totally revive their craft, and they gladly accept. Gondo Firebeard is touched that runecrafting, an art practiced by his family for generations, will be saved from decline. He also offers to act as a guide to the royal capital, in exchange for Ainz's complacency and stealing a valuable book on runes from the treasury that's in that capital that nobody else has been able to get to because it's got a magical lock on it, so even the frost dragons haven't been able to get into it. Ainz instructs Shaltir on strategic thinking in case they meet whoever killed the Death Knights. So basically, this is where they see that the bridge has been cut, but he still doesn't. He thinks that there's a being that actually killed him. He still doesn't realize that they just fell off the road bridge. Because again, Ainz is smart, but he's overthinking it, thinking that somebody was strong enough to destroy his Death Knights rather than them just falling. But at this point, Aura realizes that they fell. So Aura goes to go tell Ainz, it's like, hey, and you have him turn around, it's like, shh. So Aura shuts up. Even though he's just telling her to be quiet because he's talking to Shaltir, he doesn't. She takes it as, oh, you already know. So it's like a complete disconnect of information right there. Ainz also looks forward to meeting a real dragon in person because he's been waiting to meet dragons from the very first season because they're the strongest creatures in Yggdrasil, so he wants to see what they're like here. Going into episode 7, titled Frost Dragon Lord. That's the title of it. So we have Yols, which is the one of the Kuaga. He's reporting his defeat to Pei Ryuro, who visits the Frost Dragons. God, I'm gonna fuck up this name. Ola Sardark.
Ola Sardark.
Yes. And he meets him in the royal palace that they stole from the dwarves, hoping to persuade him to attack the dwarves. Ola Sardark, since one of his sons, Hienmal, these are like Norse names at this point, an overweight coward dragon that has a gigantic stomach and glasses.
Glasses, wow.
Yeah.
Must be quite the sight.
Hienmal is so scared he immediately surrenders to Ainz once he meets him.
Gets himself.
He actually pisses himself.
Damn.
Literally. After then you have Ainz. He goes and he kills Ola Sardark, the leader of the Frost Dragon.
Oh, not the fat one.
Not the fat one. He keeps the fat one as a pet for Aura. Even though it's intelligent and it can speak normally. That's a pet now.
So a slave then, okay.
Yeah. Ainz then helps Gondo steal the rune book. He uses this magic item that it can unlock any lock, but there's like a set number that it'll actually work on from the game of Yggdrasil.
The skeleton key from Elder Scrolls?
Kinda, yeah.
I think the one was in
It was in
I know there was one in Morrowind.
yes. I don't know if there was one in Oblivion though.
Skyrim, I have no idea. Well, there was one, wasn't there?
Skyrim, yeah, there was.
Had like an unlimited one.
Yes, it was completely unlimited.
Now, did you keep it or did they take it from you?
You could keep it.
I think I
Well,
was.
if you didn't finish the quest.
I was the. Oh yeah, because you have to finish that damn quest.
Yeah.
It's funny you ended up like the guild leader of everything, and you couldn't do a damn thing with the guilds.
No, and none of them ever respected you either. So,
Right? We'll probably spit in your fucking face.
yes, that is kind of what happens. So, Shaltir is wary of whoever killed the Death Knights until Aura reveals that Ainz always knew the Death Knights fell into the chasm. He just hid it so Shaltir would think that there was a strong enemy, requiring her to think strategically. So Aura's telling Shaltir, it's like, no, Ainz knew all along. That's why he shushed me.
So you
Even though Ainz really does not know. He's like, he's still the one that's oblivious to it at this point. By Ainz's orders, Shaltir offers Ryuro a choice. Either all 60,000 Kuwaga swear loyalty at this moment, or she will kill all except 8,000 males and females and 2,000 children. So it's either swear loyalty, or you have, what, like 15,000 people left? Or, 10,000? 10,000 total? So 8,000 males and females and 2,000 children.
But he said, was he like, do it, Dad?
Rio chooses to fight.
Damn, that's my boy right there.
But he is devastated when Shaltir kills 50,000 of the Kuwaga on her own.
Hey, man. Gotta go like a boss.
He's looking at it like, fuck. You just, even in the anime, you see body parts just flying through the air, blood trailing them. While she's just standing there just spinning, chopping the shit out of people. It's like, damn.
I'm like, I could have fight at least. And they're like, we're trying.
Well, he's like, go, my strongest guard. And then they just get...
All right, my second strongest, go. Third, you too.
And then he's like, well, we can't choose how many die, but we can choose who dies.
So all of them.
Except for 10,000. They did leave 10,000.
I thought they were going to kill...
It was either all 60,000 loyalty, or you get whittled down to 10,000 total. Your choice. It would have been so much easier just to surrender. But they seen one person and thought, psh.
I'm not here for easy. I'm here for a head-on collision.
Well, at this point, Ryuro swears loyalty after all this. And I
probably should have killed him.
No.
You always kill the leader that kind of, spoke up against you. And then I'm going to plant another leader.
I think the biggest reason is they have no fear of him at this point. Because, like, what are they really going to do to him?
You never know.
So he swears loyalty, and Ainz promises both the dragons and Kuwaga will prosper in his kingdom as long as they remain loyal to him. Shaltir then shares what she learned from the experience, and Ainz is proud of her. Ainz summons Demiurge to report on progress of the Holy Roble Empire, and Demiurge is impressed now that both the Empire and the Dwarven Kingdom's loyalty, and through a series of misunderstandings, now believes that Ainz has formulated plans for at least the next 10,000 years.
Damn, it's a lot of years.
Because he asked him, he's like, how far do you think ahead, Lord Ainz? And you have Ainzel Gone, like, thinking in his normal, like, thought process. He's like, what was that old Japanese saying? Be prepared for 10,000. He says, like, 10,000 years out loud. He's like, 10,000 years? No wonder I haven't been able to catch up. It's like, fuck. And then you see he's like, like, I didn't mean that. Sure, if you want to believe it. Episode 8 is called An Unexpected Move. We start off with Demiurge. He's manipulating the Roble Holy Kingdom into trading with the Sorcerer's Kingdom. Philip, the person that was hitting on Albedo before,
What them teddies do?
becomes the new Baron Mustrat, but his farmers are unable to farm as much food as Ainzel Gones is undead, and his finances suffer when Ainz gives food to the Holy Kingdom for free, so they stop buying from Philip.
Damn, you bankrupted me.
Yeah. One of Ainz's food deliveries is then stolen, and the theft is traced back to Philip. So he stole shit from Ainz now at this point. And after Albedo and Ainz interrogate Hilma, the person that was supposed to be watching over this little fucktard didn't work out, they bring her in. Hilma is surprised whenever Ainz blames himself instead of her and becomes devoted to him even more, describing his mercy to the other Eight Fingers whenever she comes back out of Nazarick.
Cool.
So basically, he's like, so it wasn't your fault. And Albedo, she's like, no, Hilma was in charge of this Baron Philip, and she should have known what he was doing. And then he looks at her, but weren't you in charge of Hilma? And then it's like, but I'm in charge of you, so I'm the one at fault. So, like, he doesn't blame any of his subordinates. He ends up taking blame for it.
He just says, like, it's not your fault. You're all stupid. It's my fault for choosing you.
Exactly. And that's the way they take it, too. Albedo explains to the Floor Guardians that Philip was supposed to incite the commoners into rebelling against the nobility. And that was her plan.
Rebellion!
And they didn't realize that Philip was as stupid as he is. Like, and they were supposed to peacefully absorb the Riestes kingdom into the Sorcerer's kingdom, but Philip provoked a war instead. Ainz agrees an example is required, but privately is not happy his plan failed. Ainz then sends a letter to the Riestes king, warning that the Sorcerer's kingdom, Baharith Empire, and the Dwarven kingdom, Dragon Kingdom, the Roble Holy Kingdom, and a powerful figure called the Faceless all hold the Riestes kingdom responsible for the attack on the transport and may declare war. Of all these kingdoms against
If they're sending a letter, what if you just said that charge? It says, on one side it says find out, the other one says fuck up. Or fuck around, right? Fuck around and find it.
We fuck around? Find out.
And it's just like, all he said is a chart. And he puts where the kingdom's at and where the fuck around is and where the find out is. You're getting real close.
King Ramposa, Zanuck, and his minions are trapped between fighting a war that they know they cannot win against Ainz, or blaming everything on Philip and hoping Ainz shows mercy to them. Albedo then arrives at the end of this episode, which surprises everybody, and she is surprised whenever Ramposa offers his own head in exchange for the mercy of his kingdom.
Ooh.
He's like, I know that nothing can basically be good enough, but how about my head? Will you take my head to prevent war, basically? So then we move into episode 9 called Countdown to Extinction.
So it's a fucking music video? Is that one of the shit movies or one of the songs called? Countdown to Extinction or some shit?
You mean the final countdown?
Yeah. Get
us copyrighted real fast.
What if it opened up just to that?
That would. That is kind of how we open it, though. So Albedo, that's how we start off this Countdown to Extinction episode 9. Albedo refuses Ramposa's head and declares war on the Riestes kingdom, though she promises Ainz will use no higher tier spells as he wishes to enjoy this. So he's like,
you want to commit any war crimes, huh?
Then we have Brain, who now holds Gassif's sword Razor's Edge, the one from the end of season 3. He's deciding to evacuate his sword students out of the Riestes kingdom before Ainz moves in. Demiurge moves soldiers to surround the Riestes kingdom, preventing other countries interfering. Ainz worries victory will not be easy, since more can be learned by experiencing failure. The Floor Guardians won't actually learn anything if they win without trying. At Pistonia's request, which is the maid that has that's not one of the battle maids. She's just one of the maids of Nazarick, but she's the one that I showed you that has a dog head. Long time ago. You can watch our Battle Maids episode. You'll see her there.
Dog head.
Yes, a dog head.
Probably a Game of Thrones.
Named Pistonia.
But they put the dog on Rob's. No, yeah, what was it? What was his son's name? Rob Stark?
Yeah, Rob.
Put his dog on his head.
Yeah.
Or his dog on his. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That was brutal to watch.
Well, this is more like a stuffed animal.
Long live the King of the North.
So at Pistonia's request, Ainz visits the frozen prison on Nazarick's 5th floor to see her and Negretto, Albedo's older sister, which is one of the characters that we talked about on Area Guardians a long time ago. We have an episode on it where she's got like no face and she carries gigantic scissors.
Oh, yeah.
The creepy looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes down there to meet Pistonia and her.
Estonia.
Pistonia. Pistonia, like cake or something like that. Like it's like a sweets or whatever is her last name.
Estonia cum butter.
So we have Negredo and Pistonia's wish for Ainz to stop massacring humans, as they believe humans have infinite potential that Ainz is wasting. Ainz agrees, but points out that the need to set an example of what happens to kingdoms who oppose him. He's like, yeah, I agree that humans have potential, but they need to fucking die when they fuck with me. So then you have Ainz.
I gotta move this. There we go. This thing's been like wobbling everywhere today.
Yeah. He decides to massacre the coastal kingdom of Enal, which is part of the Restes kingdom, but leaves some humans alive for them. So he's like, I'll let some of them escape then. Fine. So Count Niall, which hires the Four Armaments, which is another adventurers team, basically. Mithril level adventurers. So they're not adamantite, but they're like right below that. To protect Enal. One of them, Lilianette, agrees to marry Noel's 12-year-old son in exchange for the Noel family heirloom, the 5-colored holy sword.
Yeah.
And she's one of those freaks where she starts drooling. She's like, don't you have a 12-year-old son? Because she likes him young. It's like,
like illegal, huh?
Oh yeah. So then you have the Four Armaments are almost overwhelmed by two of Ainz's Death Knights. He's got a normal Death Knight with a shield and sword, and then he has a double sword wielder, Death Knight, and then a group of zombies. But the zombies are really not that big of a deal. So they're getting overwhelmed by it. But then they're saved whenever the Death Knights are easily destroyed by an adamantite level adventurer wearing red flying armor from the Adventurer Guild Drop of Red.
Drop of Red.
And it looks like a fucking Gundam. So we go from fantasy to
sci-fi.
Gundam. Yes.
Gundam, huh?
Yeah.
It's just a little like a nod to Gundam. Maybe the guy like Gundams.
Well, we do find out. I don't necessarily. They don't say it, I don't think, but the armor was something that in the game of Yggdrasil was given out to new players after the game had already been out for a long time, so that way they could get a head start within the game. Like it was one of those bonus sign-in things for new players,
right?
But with
a lot of people made those fucking fake accounts.
Yeah,
grab that armor real quick.
Oh yeah, and you traded it to themselves.
Yeah.
So that was what the kind of armor it was. It was called power armor, I think.
I'm just like, man, I couldn't get that. What the fuck? He's all upset now. I remember that armor.
So it basically whatever people were brought into this world hundreds of years ago, one of them had that armor, and that's how this armor exists in this world now. Because the person that's flying the armor is not a player. So we go into episode 10, which is called The Last King. So Ainz, recognizing the armor from Yggdrasil,
he's like, fuck, I want that.
He lets Enal survive and moves his army to the Restes capital to destroy it. The Blue Roses, which is the one of the groups that we met before that fought with Demiurge's altered ego, Yaldabaoth. We have that group, and then we have the Drop of Red, which is the guy that was flying this power.
That was great. Drop of Red.
Yeah.
Like that name.
Whose armor-wielding leader, Azuf, is Lachios's uncle. So the leader of Blue Rose, her uncle, is the guy wearing the red armor.
Cool.
And he's a freak. He's got two whores whenever they meet up beside him. They are summoned to meet a special forces group from the Theocracy, the Black Scripture, which is what Clementine was part of too at one point, the Black Scripture, who ask them to switch loyalty to the Theocracy to fight Ainz, but they refuse. So basically the Black Scripture comes in and it's like, we want both of your groups to join us. And they're like, nah, we're good.
Damn.
Azuf plans to fight Ainz alone to save Restes. So he's going to put that battle armor on and he's going to go fight Ainz alone. Zanuck meets with Ainz and demands to know why Ainz has ignored his demands or his attempts to surrender. So basically, this is on the battlefield. You have both armies facing off against each other. You have Ainz, and then you have the Riestes kingdom. The Prince Zanuck, he goes to the middle of the battlefield and he requests an audience with Ainz, and Ainz agrees, and that's where this happens or whatever. He's like, "Why are you ignoring me? Why will you not let us surrender to you?" And you have Ainz, he admits he is using Riestes as an example to other kingdoms at this point, saying, "You fuck around and you find out."
You see the chart right here? They pulled out a fucking big ass chart.
Then you have the Prince Zanuck. He demands to know Ainz's ultimate goal. And in a moment of genuine honesty, Ainz admits he is seeking happiness. That's all he wants. He wants all the people of Nazarick that have been entrusted to him, in his mind anyway, that all his friends have left him, like all these NPCs and stuff like that, all the items. He wants those people to be happy. That's his only goal. He couldn't give a fuck about this new world whatsoever. He just wants his Nazarick people to be happy.
Huh.
So Ainz also learns Gazif's sword is with Brain at the Riestes capital from Zanuck, because that's what Zanuck says. Zanuck wonders if he was actually ever fit to be king whenever they part ways. He's like, that was an actual king. Like, looking at Ainz, this is what a king is supposed to be. And then you have Ainz thinking the exact same thing of Prince Zanuck as he's walking away. Since he's just a normal person and not really an overlord, he's like, oh, so that's what actual royalty looks like and acts like. So, returning to his army, a group of nobles are so terrified that they betray Zanuck. The traitors then bring Zanuck's head to Ainz to beg for mercy and present them Zanuck's severed head in a bag. Ainz demands to know where Zanuck's armor is, and also, and as it also belonged to Gazif, he's like, yes. Basically, he's like, what do you want from me then? What do you want in exchange for giving me Zanuck's head? And they say, safety for our families. That's all we want is safety for our families. It's like, okay. Or go ahead and open the gate and let them back into Nazarick. We're going to go ahead and protect them. And then he stops her. He sends them to Neuronus, the Cthulhu bitch. All those people get sent to Neuronus at the frozen prison, promising them that they will receive mercy. That mercy being death, once they have begged Neuronus to kill them to escape her true expert torture. And then whenever he tells Aura, send him to Neuronus, and she says, okay. And then he stops her, like grabs her arm physically, like kind of roughly. And he's like, and whenever they demand to die, don't kill them right away. Make it torturous. He wants them to suffer as much as possible at this point now. Instead of just giving them a merciful killing, you will let them die. Like, you will let them die whenever Neuronus wants them to die. Because of how they betrayed the king, or this prince. Like, it irritates him so much that somebody would betray one of their friends, supposedly, that he's like, no. You're going to suffer for eternity now. So, disgusted by the noble's actions, Ainz, he hands his army to Cocytus and Mare, with the order to completely massacre the Riestes kingdom using any method that they desire to use. No holds bar at this point. Because he said he's just lost interest. Instead of taking it, like, having fun with the war, he's like, you know what? Like, his true Elder Lich nature, like, he kind of slips into being a true Elder Lich at this point, of saying just, fuck them all. Let them all die. After he sees how they act towards each other. So then we go into episode 11, which is called Well-Prepared Traps. We start off with Ramponza, the king. He's mourning the death of his son, believing it marks the end of his kingdom completely, because Zanuck is dead at this point. Shoutir retrieves the 8 fingers, including Coco Doll, which is the sex slave trafficker that we met in season 2, whom she gives to Kyokuko to test Coco's loyalty. So you have Helma. She's like, you'll enjoy it after it's all over. As Ainz advances on the capital, Azuth flies to stop them and fights Albedo. Ainz is ambushed by another warrior in platinum armor, Riku and Gia. So Riku is technically that dragon that we seen from the first season. There was a platinum dragon that was basically he's the leader of a council state, a different nation, but he's controlling this armor remotely. And Ainz doesn't realize that it's a remotely controlled piece of armor. He thinks it's an actual person. So Riku, who traps Ainz in a barrier that he cannot break. So we have Ainz getting ready to fight him in a barrier that he can't even get out of. Ainz realizes the armor is eventually being controlled remotely and battles Riku after he refuses to become a subordinate. He's like, here, join me, join my kingdom. And he's like, no, I ain't joining your kingdom. Fuck you. Backed into a corner, Ainz takes the unusual decision to kneel and beg for mercy, claiming he is the victim and re-sees the criminals. Riku agrees but claims Ainz went too far, so he has to die. And then you have Albedo break through the barrier to defend him. Basically, since she's carrying a world-class item, it breaks through that barrier with no issue.
Was it a world-class item that trapped him?
It wasn't a world-class item is what they find out, but it was an ability that existed from Dragon Lords. They don't know this, obviously, at this point, because it's further in the books, but...
Not the anime?
No. But you find out that this barrier is on par with a world item, but it wasn't from the game. This is something that existed in this world way before the game elements came to be. So it causes Riku to retreat after Albedo breaks through, because she's like getting ready to fuck him up with her world item, because it can transform into an axe for her. So she's ready to just crack the armor completely. So Riku, he let's see here, where was I? Okay, so it basically causes Riku to retreat and regroup with Azuth, the one that wears the red armor. Riku is revealed to be the Platinum Dragon Lord. To Riku anyway, or to the audience, basically, you find out that this is the Platinum Dragon Lord. He is curious that Albedo broke the barrier while Ainz could not, meaning either Albedo possesses a world item, because he knows about world items, this Dragon Lord does, or she is actually stronger than Ainz. He theorizes that Albedo might actually be a player, and Ainz an NPC.
Wait, so this guy's a player too?
No. The Dragon Lord worked with players at one point, is what you find out back in time. Like when you went backwards in time, people that had been sent to this world before, he knew these players, and they tried to explain it to him, but he doesn't know like the full concept of player versus NPC. He knows the words, but he can't. How would I describe this?
Can't comprehend a video game.
He can't comprehend a video game whatsoever. But whenever he says the word player, they put it in the subtitles even where it's misspelled slightly, because he knows the word, but he doesn't know what it is.
Right.
So, and he begins to make plans to destroy both of them. He also considers whether to kill Azoth in order to give his Yggdrasil armor to someone stronger. Because he's like, oh, so you couldn't beat Albedo, huh? Even with that red armor. Ainz and Albedo return to Nazarick, where it is revealed that Ainz is actually Pandora's actor the entire time. It was never really Ainz. And the real Ainz was observing the battle from Nazarick the entire time.
He's like, fuck, fuck.
He demands Pandora's actor tell him everything that he learned of Riku, because he sent him there basically as a scout to figure out all his abilities, his powers, everything about him. And then he asks them to place him at a level. So you have Pandora's actor saying that Riku, or the Platinum Dragon Lord basically, would be at a level 90. Then you have Albedo thinking that he's more somewhere around 85. And then Shaltir thinks that he's a level 80. So they all have their own...
Dropping him down.
Yeah, because they've all fought him at this point now. So you have Albedo fighting him when she broke through the world barrier. You have Pandora's actor constantly fighting him, and that's why he places him at a 90. And then in the first season, the person that had the world-class item that was able to brainwash Shaltir was friends of the Platinum Dragon Lord. And she fought that armor as well, and it kind of fucked it up. So she's like, level 80, wasn't nothing. So we move into episode 12 called Invasion of the Royal Capital. So Ainz is curious about Riku's barrier skill, which Albedo broke through since she carries the world item that she has. Ainz concludes that Riku must defeat them again so he can learn more, though he is reluctant in case he is killed and cannot be resurrected. But he kind of doesn't want to die. He's like, if I can avoid that, I will. Princess Rainier, she visits Brain, Lycius, and the Blue Roses in Riestes, where the Blue Roses betray Lycius. If they poison her, they beat her until she is too weak to resist Evil Eye's hypnosis. So the leader of the guild is attacked by her own guild. Or her own adventurers group.
Traitors everywhere.
They reveal that Lycius had planned to stay in Riestes' kingdom to fight, so they decided to take her with them by force to keep her alive. And that was the whole reason they attacked her, and used the charm spell on her to make her do what they wanted, because they knew that she would, even if they left, she would stay to fight. So the only way to get her to leave was to fuck her up enough to put her under a spell to leave.
Jesus.
And she can heal herself, so it didn't hurt her too much. Preparing to teleport out of the Riestes kingdom, they offer to take Brain and Princess Rainier with them to safety to a distant kingdom wiped out centuries ago, which they decline. Brain in particular refuses, as he hopes to duel Ainz, but he gives Gazef's sword to Princess Rainier and Climb to return to the king. Return to the king. Cocytus and Aura arrive and begin destroying the city at this point. So, Brain, while searching for Ainz, he encounters Cocytus, who agrees to duel him after a brief introduction. Despite his training and increased abilities, Brain is killed instantly by Cocytus.
Piggy's like, no, Brain.
The funny thing is, though, is that Brain the swordsman, at that point, whenever he fought Cocytus, he had reached higher levels than any human ever of this new world by powering up the way he had, like whenever he fought Shelter and stuff, training and stuff. He got more powerful than Gazef Stronov, the old head warrior that had died. He'd reached past the peak of any human on this new world, physically. And then he still died. Cocytus is impressed by Brain's skill and warrior spirit. Following Ainz's lesson on strategic thinking, Cocytus reasons that Brain might have value, so he collects Brain's sword, which is the just a normal katana sword, as a trophy, and has his body frozen to potentially be resurrected later should Ainz wish it. So he had enough intelligence to say he might be worth something in the future, freeze him. Then we move on to the final episode, called The Witch of the Falling Kingdom. All right, as the attack on the capital continues, Princess Rainier convinces the king to have Climb hide all the royal treasures around the city, hoping Ainz will want to obtain them and thus spare more people. At least this is what she tells him.
Ooh, a treasure. Ooh, a treasure.
Elsewhere, Aura raids the city's Magicians Guild, and there's a little group of people that come out to try to stop her, and she just blows their head off with an arrow, because she's a bowman as well, so... After completing his mission, Climb returns to the palace, only to find Ainz on the throne and the king dead, with Princess Rainier holding the sword, Razor's Edge. Believing Ainz has charmed the princess into killing her father, Climb challenges Ainz will go into a duel, but he's easily killed.
Bring your deck out, we're gonna duel.
The funny part, too, is that whenever Ainz is holding him, he's like, at this point in a normal protagonist story, this is where you'd gain powers that would allow you to destroy the evil ones, such as myself. But this is real life. And just throws him across the room. Bringing up one of those tropes of something like a Goku or something like that. It's like, in normal fantasy, you'd be able to beat me. But this is the real world for you. So, however... Ainz is later resurrected and finds that Princess Rainier is now a demon. While Rainier claims that she was forced to swear loyalty to Ainz, a later conversation with Albedo reveals that she was willingly sold out her own country the entire time, just so that way she could be with Climb for eternity.
Jesus Christ, everyone's betrayed everybody. This whole season's nothing but betrayal.
And it's all in Ainz Ulgon's favor. So Princess Rainier then asks Climb to become a demon like her so that she wouldn't be alone, which he accepts because she calls him her puppy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Albedo then visits Philip, the one that touched her, and we all heard that the cracking glass from her. uh, who expects a thank you for providing her a casus belli for this war. Instead, Albedo tortures him to death, revealing that Philip's father requested that she punish him for his actions.
Yeesh.
What they don't show in the anime, but they do have in the light novels, though, is that she said, "Come view the forest that your father wanted me to show you," and all it is like Vladimir, like Dracula shit, where it's just people on pikes,
Oh.
and that's the forest where she left them all just on spears, dead in the front yard.
Just hanging from their buttholes?
Could be.
That's what he used to do, didn't he? He used to fucking put them up there by their buttholes and just they would sink into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was that a different trap? I don't know. He's a fucking weirdo.
Yes. Basically, she killed them all.
Yeah.
The whole point.
The whole,
In a very gruesome way.
put them by the throat and
And all you hear is screams from the departure from the mansion.
take my butthole.
In the aftermath of the war, Ainz meets Marcus Raven and puts him in charge of the kingdom's former territory. The Sorcerer King also asks the Marquis if this conflict made the world understand the foolishness of opposing him, to which he affirms that it did, leaving the Overlord satisfied with his outcome. Because he's sitting on the throne of a rubble throne of the kingdom, because literally the entire kingdom city is gone after Einzelgone takes over. He literally left it in pure ruins at the end, with a crown sitting on the edge of this this stone throne, and then the scepter hanging off to the side, where it's like one of those images of like he's like alone in this kingdom of ruin. And he's got all those other like nobles, like Marquis Raven. That's why I said he's one that you'd actually a name that's easy to remember, because he comes back at this in this season and takes over the entire lands basically to rule them until Albedo or Demiurge come up with better plans. Because he's like, continue to rule your kingdom in your normal way. He's like, so do you think I did good? The Marquis like, don't never forget this. It's like, okay, then it was worth it.
Never forget this.
Yeah.
They'll never forget this.
And then at the end of the episode, it says, and the end begins.
I'll never forget this.
Exactly.
Find some trap somewhere, something.
That's how we end season 4. It tied up a lot of loose ends, stuff like that. But
you can never put a rebel down. Rebellions.
Any questions?
So why are they called light novels and not manga?
Like I said, because it's chapter books.
Oh, it's actually books?
Yeah, it's actual books.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know if there are manga of. I haven't really.
Overlord?
Yeah, I haven't really looked. I know that the light novels are extremely popular. Like when you look up anything that's written.
Why light novel? I just how they pronounce it.
What do you mean?
What's it called? A light? What's the light novel mean?
Because it's 250, 300 pages.
That's a light.
Yeah,
That's a novel.
Think of Harry Potter.
Yeah, but Harry Potter was,
A thick bitch.
Yeah, that's a thick bitch right there. Didn't I say that one?
Yeah. That's why you brought it up.
Yeah, it sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a regular novel is like 200-300 pages.
Yeah, so it'd just be like, I think they're saying that it's like a
I guess Japan has a whole definition on light and fat.
Yeah.
And 900 pages is a normal novel to them. Like 3,000 is like a thick bitch.
Yeah, I have. I think I saw the first one, the first light novel from that. But it goes into a lot more detail than the actual anime does, because they obviously leave stuff out.
Yeah, they got more stuff to say. Yeah.
But if you ever try to find books for Overlord, I don't know if I've ever really seen the manga come up as much. Like, I know they probably do exist because the anime obviously exists.
Yeah.
But
But it went from novel to manga to anime.
no, it went from web series to light novel to probably manga.
Series, huh?
Yeah, there's web series before.
Goddamn One Piece.
Yeah. The same kind of thing. The guy that created Overlord loved Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
That was his thing. Like his, but he never had anybody to really play Dungeons and Dragons with.
It's all like
So
my
create-
fucking life.
So he just created a whole novel. Well, yeah, how about this then? But like I said, we're season 5. They haven't said whenever it's coming out. There is supposed to be a movie, I think, later this year or early next year that takes place in season 4 between a couple of episodes. Like
The whole movie?
the whole movie does. It's about the Roble Holy Kingdom that Demiurge was dealing with. The ones that they were trying to send food to.
Right.
It's basically an entire arc of just Demiurge,
Okay.
the demon. That's why he wasn't in season 4 as much, because he was doing his own.
Doing his own thing?
Yeah.
Must be that popular.
Because it was like in the books, it was like the way they had it. Like season 4 didn't go like in the same order as the books. The books like continued on, but they took those 2 sets out that had to do with that kingdom, so that way they can make a movie of it rather than installing it in the 4th season and adding it to just episodes.
All right.
So now we're just waiting for the 5th season to come out eventually.
Season 5.
And no word on that. So
2025.
considering that the first season of Overlord came out in, I want to say 2015 or 14
Let's see who wins. One Piece or Overlord?
in time,
Who comes out first? Bet you still be Overlord.
probably. They'll finish up completely.
Gee, they've been doing One Piece. This is the final arc, and the arc's already like 100 chapters long.
But any questions or anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
We will see you guys on the next one.
One Piece all the time.